So, if you guys could first describe me, what is the feel of the movie?
I thought you said if you could describe me, and I was like, the feel of the movie.
Sorry, we're wasting your time right now. Go.
The feel of the movie, I think that it's like pretty inspirational because I don't think that a lot of people know that they were the first all-girls rock and roll band, and I think that is so weird, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know, and so I hope that this movie will kind of bring that to people's attention, and I think that the movie is pretty raw and, like, real and authentic to who they were and what they tried to do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the whole point is, like, you know, they were really young in a time where it wasn't easy to do what they naturally were moved to do, and they had to fight to do it. And, you know, the fact that they didn't just sit down and go, like, well, okay, I'm not going to play. I'm just going to do something else. I mean, I think the feel of the movie is just, like, freedom. I mean, just essentially, like, just, it's just about being independent and doing your thing. And
Tell me about, you know, when I was watching the film last night, I felt like a sense of empowerment, like that the social outcasts in the film were, like, empowering.
That's awesome.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's, like, really good to hear, because Joan is, I mean, that's, like, her whole thing is, like, people that don't have a voice. She always says that. She's like, I feel like this is really good for people that need to, like, find their, you know, voice. And so she would love to hear that. So if you ever talk to her, please.
Joan?
Yeah, I mean, and especially for Cherie, because she kind of started out as one of those people that didn't have a voice, because she was, like, in the shadow of her twin sister, who was, like, always just the more popular, the more beautiful one, even though they look just alike. You know what I mean? You just have, like, that she had that in her head her whole life
she was the
growing up.
dominant sister.
Yeah, Marie. And so this was, like, her moment to kind of shine and be kind of a weirdo at the same time, you know? Because I think that that's what these girls were kind of seen as, because no one did this. You know, this was kind of strange.
And tell me a little bit, like, the clothes in the film were sick. So, was there any, you know, any pieces of clothing that you guys would have loved to have kept, or any ones that you liked performing in?
I pretty much have everything.
We
I
sort
kept
of, like,
it all,
absconded
so.
with all of our stuff.
Yeah, it was really important, because I feel like I went through a lot in, like, the clothes.
Yeah,
and,
me
and
too.
they're really important.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted them.
The thought of, like, them belonging to someone else actually makes me want to burn their house down. Like, it's so ours. Yeah.
And what are your guys' relationships like with the real people that you portrayed in the film?
Very close, I think.
Yeah, really close. Joan lives in New York, but whenever she's in LA or whenever I'm in New York, I see her, and, like, to have somebody to call when I'm, like, freaking out in Mexico City and I'm locked in a hotel room and, like, I'm not allowed to go out because I would get, you know, killed or something because I'm in this big movie. Like, she's really someone that
Wait, no, what movie is that?
well, whatever. If you don't know it, alright. I don't really like to, you know, it's awkward to list your credits, but go on.
Nope, no, that was...
Yeah.
So, well, that sort of, you segued into the next question is, you guys, you know, both been, obviously, the huge movies. So can you relate, in a way, to what the Runaways went through?
I can and I can't, because I think that the music industry and being an actor is really different.
Yeah.
And especially, like, the time that they grew up in and the time that they kind of became famous is so different than the time that we live in and like, first became actors. So, but there's, like, little things that you can relate to. I mean, I guess just being, like, a public figure. But just, like, the level of fame is almost different, because when you're a musician, it's, like, you and you're putting yourself out there as opposed to a character.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, you know, Joan, what was I just going to say? Oh, it was really good, too. Wait, what was your question?
Like, relating to, like, how, you know, the craziness and celebrity.
Yeah.
You guys are going through that now, and how, if it was easy to relate how they went through it back then, how the Runaways were going through, sort of.
Right. Well, I mean, like, the thing is, like, they faced, like, I remembered.
Oh, great.
Okay, like, they faced, like, monstrous adversity, and Joan said something at Sundance that was, like, really, I wanted to go up and say, like, you're totally wrong because this movie is coming out and people are like, the fact that she was like, I don't know if it's changed. It's like, so has it changed for girls? Do you feel proud of yourself? Something an audience member said, and I wanted to be like, yes, but at the same, and she was like, no, I don't think it has changed. And I acknowledge that there are different boxes that were put in, but like that level of like critique on like a person, it's changed for girls.
And like
I think
hate.
yeah, and hate.
Too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that still exists, but
Right.
like on such a different, like much more superficial level. Like then
Yeah.
it was like, I don't like what you are. I don't want to see. You know what I mean? And that's just so wrong. And that has changed. I feel. I mean, a little bit. I mean, like we still definitely have our boxes that I would love to just be like, bah, but it's not gonna. Yeah.
So last question, do you think there's a double standard then for like what female actresses go through than what guys go through?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's like the classic. I mean, that's like even like people complain about not having like roles, like hefty roles, because they're not written for women because people don't think that they're interesting enough or that they can do them or that they don't have an audience. And so it's.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I haven't really experienced that yet. I think also that you experience that when you like become older, but I have experience in that like a lot of people don't want to see you doing certain things. You know
you
what I
need to be
mean?
a certain way or else they just really want you to go away. And guys don't have that necessarily. I mean, they do, but I feel like they get away with a lot more. Like they can have personalities. Like they can be their own. They can be people. And yeah, I feel like girls need to be cute and funny.